stem cells to the stroke area. And later on in chronic stage, this protein is cut in half. And when that cutting of the protein happens...
But if there's clotting, then how will you remove that clot?
So Huzoor, inshallah, if this therapy is to make it to the clinic, you would first give the clot busters. So this is these are pharmaceutical medications that actually destroy the clot in the vessels of the brain. So if you have a clot in the brain, you treat them with medicine first. And following that, we would like to increase the neural stem cell activation to that area so that after even the clot has been removed, those cells that have died in that short space of time can be replaced by neural stem cells.
Sometimes you have to operate that and bring out that clot.
To remove that clot, we do by medication.
First you will remove that one or make it thin, let it pass through, and then do this treatment of just...
And that
for the quick recovery. Huh?
That's correct. First we would treat the clot, and then we would actually go on to treat through medication or through giving of endogenous factors or exogenous factors that increase neural stem cell activity so that they can replace the dead neurons in the brain. So it's a multi-parts process that includes removal of the clot as well as increasing neural stem cell activation. And in terms of my research, if I may, Huzoor, I've gotten to the point that we have showed that this protein, if you block that protein by giving a medication, you can actually increase the survival of the neural stem cells in the stroke. So inshallah, our desire is to take this further and to try this in rodent as well as primate systems so that we can increase neural stem cell survival after stroke and show that after paralysis or speech impediment due to a stroke, we can recover function and help patients.
You have done some practical on it? You have got some patients? What was the recovery percentage?
The increase of percentage of stem cells that we derived was 40% over control. So we saved 40% more neurons and allowed those stem cells to survive. And of that 40%, approximately 70% became neurons at the end of our trial. So by increasing the neural stem cell survival, we created on the order of...
But did you do this trial on some patients?
No, Huzoor, this is in animal models currently.
Yes.
And we would like to take it to a primate system. In baboon system is often used in stroke.
And how expensive it is?
Huzoor, it's quite costly. This is it's a team effort, so inshallah, to take it.
The poor man cannot survive with your treatment.
Inshallah, the medication will hopefully be cost effective, but the trials that will take it to hopefully the clinical stage, this is a very expensive process, and most labs outsource this to pharmaceutical companies. So after the university does the research, we give the idea as well as some of the ownership over to pharmaceutical companies that can spend something like billions of dollars to create these therapies. But
so
it's
will you get some share out from this from the pharmaceutical company? You get it patent so that you get the share.
Inshallah, I will keep that in mind, Huzoor.
अच्छा, अच्छा ठीक है. और
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Huzoor. My name is Ijaz Ahmed. I'm from Syracuse, Jamaat. I'm currently pursuing my PhD in organic chemistry at Syracuse University.
Which chemistry?
Organic chemistry.
Organic chemistry.
And my research focuses mainly on the synthesis of natural products. And natural products are molecules that are found in nature, in species of plants or in animals. And these molecules are very rare in nature and hard to come by. So what we do is we research on how to synthesize these molecules in the lab. Usually these types of molecules have some very important medicinal purposes and biological activities. So when we synthesize them in the lab, we can test them for any sort of medicinal purposes and use them as drugs or medicine. One of the molecules I'm researching on right now is... One of the molecules I'm researching on right now is neoselaginelic acid, which is from a plant called selaginellici, a plant that's used in Chinese folk medicine. It's been used in traditional medicine in China for quite a while to treat various diseases. And when the molecule was isolated, they tested it out and found that it has some sort of anti-cancer activities, so it has activity against cancer. And currently I'm researching on synthesizing that molecule. Another molecule I'm also researching on is called eletofin, which comes from the plants belonging to the Staphyloxacane family. And that plant has also been shown to have some sort of anti-HIV activities. So inshallah, still researching on making these molecules in the lab, and inshallah in the future I'll have these publications out. Ultimately, my goal is to one day inshallah work as a university professor and teaching and conducting my own research.
Sure. So, can they ask any question from you?
If they have questions, I would be more than happy to answer them.
Yes. Those who are interested in this subject can ask this question. No.
Organic chemistry is a pretty tough subject, so they might be very intimidated by it. But I enjoy doing the research. And
Achha. So, और कौन है next?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Next now.
Huzoor, my name is Umar Malik. I am from the Central Jersey Jamaat, just a few hundred miles from here. I am a second-year PhD student in electrical engineering,
Electronic engineering.
electrical engineering, and my research is at the interface of both engineering and physics. I conduct theoretical research in laser physics. I conduct theoretical research in laser physics. And I am particularly interested in investigating the quality of the electromagnetic radiation within laser cavities. As a physicist, I'm interested in understanding the light and matter interactions that exist within a laser cavity. And as an engineer, I'm interested in improving the quality of laser devices such that they're more efficient and powerful.
So, where are they used? In scanners? MRIs?
So lasers have various uses. They're ubiquitous for a lot of measurement purposes, but also in medicine.
Do they have any bad effect on the patient when they're passing through this procedure?
So that depends. It depends on the power of the electromagnetic radiation. Generally, when you have...
Their theory is changing now. They say quite a number of patients have, especially children, have the threat of side effects, bad side effects.
Yes, there have been cases where high energy electromagnetic radiation does induce certain effects, but those effects can be mitigated by reducing the power that is used. Therefore, a lot of research goes into getting as little power as we can into the human body such that the reflections that are measured can be detected at very low powers. And so the interaction of light with human cells does not create any sort of...
If you lower the power, the results will also be same as with the complete use of your system. I think if you lower the power, will it not affect the result?
Yes, so if you have too little power, you cannot measure the reflections. But so for example, if I look at the interactions of light matter and I can improve the detection capability and we can detect weaker and weaker signals, then we can detect incredibly weak signals, which are much weaker, for example, than just the radiation that we see from the sun, which is known to be safe for human beings.
Sure. Or next corner.
Assalamu alaikum, Huzoor.
Assalamu.
My name is Amar Ahmed. I'm from Richmond Jamaat, and I am doing...
You are holding some paper, is it not?
Huzoor, these are questions that have been printed out for all the students. I'm doing my PhD in electrical engineering from Virginia Tech. My research work is on the adjustment and adaptation of transmit power of radios in a wireless network. And the issue with the transmit power adjustment is that if a radio transmits with a very high power, it can increase the data rate of its link, but it can also cause interference to other radios in the network. So if I can give an example, if I'm speaking very loudly to someone, I can speak very clearly to that person, but I will cause disturbance to others in the environment. On the other hand, if I speak very quietly, in that case, I'll be hard to hear from that person. So the same principle applies in.
Repeat it.
So Huzoor, if I can speak very loudly to someone, that person can hear me very clearly, but others would probably feel disturbed when they are actually hearing my loud sound, for example.
No, but with some device in the other person's ear, or just
no, so I was just giving an example. The same principle applies to radios when they are transmitting with a very high electromagnetic pulse wave. They will create interference for other radios, just like someone speaking very loudly would cause disturbance to others. So the problem.
How possible that people sitting in a hall, some of them will hear your voice, some of them not?
So Huzoor,
is it possible?
So Huzoor, yes, it's possible that they can hear it, but it's possible that if two persons.
It can only be possible if they have some hearing problem. Huh? Achha.
Yes, Huzoor. So the problem is that if two radios are transmitting on their links, they don't want to interfere too much with each other. So my research work is on how can they adjust their transmit paths without any coordination so that each radio transmitter can be received or can send its data to its receiver without creating too much trouble.
So it is through receiver. Everybody will have receiver.
Yes.
Achha. This is what I'm asking. You say no openly. You're sitting like this, and then some will hear your voice, some not.
So
it is through some device which they will be having in their hands or ears. Achha.
So my research work is on trying to focus on how each transmitter and each receiver can coordinate their transmission and not create problems for other transmitter-receiver pairs. And so how can they adjust so that the overall data speed in the network can be maximized without causing too much difficulty for individual users or individual transmitters.
What's the benefit we shall get out of it?
So Huzoor, one of the benefits is that...
Can it help us during our jalsas for translation facility?
So Huzoor, if the translation was on using wireless networks, then it would help if, in that case, it would be helpful so that one could increase the data speed of the network, fewer dropped signals, the quality would be much better. And so basically it's about trying to improve the quality of the signal without causing the loss of quality for any other person who is also using the same channel to talk on his or her radio.
Achha. That's all. Huh?
That's all.
The program क्या है आपका कब तक है? Still have time? Then 15 minutes? Up to 5:15? Then we have 11 minutes. You have to be very precise. Achha. Or what is the next?
Questions है हुजूर बच्चों के अगर
अच्छा क्या क्वेश्चन है बताओ.
मोहम्मद अजहर अहमद, शिकागो वेस्ट. मेरा क्वेश्चन मॉडर्न एजुकेशन के बारे में है. Huzoor, the side effects of modern education questions the existence of God. The side effect of modern education is that it questions the existence of God. How we can neutralize that side effect? Also, young generation is often methodically drawn into atheism in Western societies. how we can prevent it.
Do you see any clash between the modern science and the existence of God? But again, personally not. Huh?
Personally, not me, but
You see,
I'm-
if this question was asked by what's his name, George Clement, during the time of Masih Maud Islam, that there is difference between science and the modern science. And the reply of Masih Maud Islam is very clearly mentioned in the 10th volume of Huzoor. I think your Secretary Talim should pick some of the points from there and get it translated into English. And Masih Maud Islam has clearly said that there is no clash between science and science and religion, as far as Islam is concerned. Because if you read the Holy Quran, there are quite a number of verses which tell you about how different, aspects of human life, natural life, geology, astronomy, and you can name any subject which you can easily find it in the Holy Quran. So it needs a long answer for that. You collect and pick all this, even agriculture, how the seed comes out, as far as